Politics make strange bedfellows. As I sit here and take in all of the news from every direction, all I see is deceivers, liars, corporate media, cover ups, agenda, all pushing the same propaganda. It's time for a game changer, a visionary, an innovative person who changes the way that people think of the situations. It's time for Game Changer TV, telling it like it is. Get in the game. What if the Epstein files are much more dark and evil and wicked than your brain can even comprehend? Thanks for tuning into Game Changer TV. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where every day we're telling it like it is. Today is December 26, 2025, and let's just get into this. Politics make strange bedfellows. Politics make strange bedfellows means that political alliances often bring together people or groups with very different, even opposing views who unite for a common goal or a shared interest. Everybody on the plane? Forming unusual partnerships out of necessity or shared objectives. And y'all remember Kanye's art? People from different political opinions all in bed together that depicted people like Kanye and Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift and George W. Bush, and even Trump. Were these people on the plane also? Y'all prepare for this. It's about to get dark. Let's jump into this.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me. Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out.
8 days ago, Trump is not ruling out going to war with Venezuela.
If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me. Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out.
And he's staying the course, apparently. 90% of the Epstein files are redacted. It is widely circulated claim that approximately 90% of the initially released Jeffrey Epstein files were fully redacted. Media analysis confirmed heavily redaction, with CBS News finding at least 550 pages in the initial December 2025 release were entirely blacked out.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me.
I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago, many years ago, and they're, highly respected bankers and lawyers and others.
Yeah, or maybe presidents too, right?
The President of the United States of America is a schmurderer. And no one's talking about it. Why? The president.
Now, what he's referring to is the files that were redacted. Somebody figured out how to unredact it by copying and pasting and putting it in a Word document, and they were able to read what was underneath the redacted out black parts. And apparently, in the files, Trump and Epstein sexually assault a 13-year-old girl who becomes pregnant, and they all throw the 13-year-old girl's baby over into Lake Michigan from a yacht. So that's what he's referring to. Politics make strange bedfellows. Let's keep going.
The unredacted Epstein files are getting even worse.
What'd they say?
Multiple files released all point the finger at Donald Trump. The girl reported that Trump and Epstein would pay her to do things to them when she was 13, and eventually she got pregnant. Her uncle was in on it too, so Trump and her uncle made sure the baby didn't make it. So her uncle threw her baby into the river. And Trump was there as it happened.
Why wasn't this released in the first version?
Pam Bondi illegally released the Epstein files with redacted versions and tried to cover everything up, but then people learned how to unredact and the files that are getting stated right now are coming straight from the DOJ and FBI's files right off of their website, which they took down when they learned they accidentally had it. There's also a driver for Trump who a woman ran into. The driver was telling her stories about Trump, and she said he did things to me when I was 13. So the driver told her to report it to the FBI, but she said, I can't because he'll kill me if I do. But then she called the FBI anyway.
Why wasn't the FBI doing anything about it?
Well, here's the crazy thing. When the girl told the driver the story, she had a friend in the car too. And the next time the friend saw the driver asked where she was, and her friend said that she was found alive by a gun wound, giving the FBI no further leads on this case, which actually ties back to Katie Johnson, who sued Trump for when she was 13. And Katie Johnson claimed the same story, but never showed up to court after suing Trump and disappeared, and her lawyers never heard from her again either. And said they don't even think she's alive anymore. Jeffrey Epstein also wrote Trump a letter before unaliving himself.
He wrote them a letter?
Yes, saying that Trump was into the exact same thing I'm into. They had Jeffrey Epstein's signature 3 days before he was unalived. Even more files are leaking and getting unredacted, even though Pam Bondi redacted them all.
Isn't what Pam Bondi did illegal?
Yes, she might go to prison along with Kash Patel and everybody else who lied about these things. They claim these files didn't exist.
So does this mean they lied about everything and the truth is coming to light?
MAGA is leaving, but some of them are still staying and still.
Okay, now I gotta know. Was he confessing when he said this?
The baby will be born, and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates.
Now, in that speech, he was accusing the Democrats of that. But you know, with the Republicans, especially Trump, every accusation is a confession. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there was a file released yesterday that accused the now sitting president of doing nefarious things to a very, very underage girl. And she ended up getting pregnant. And right after she had the baby, her uncle disposed of said baby to protect the now president. And again, this is just a confession that was in the files. I'm not saying that it was literally done, TikTok, but might have been. This is most likely why the Justice Department put out that memo today saying that there's a lot of bullshit in the files. How would they know that? And if this is what they released while they're trying not to incriminate him, can you imagine just how much darker these files are going to get as they start to come out? Now, the big question of the day is, will it matter? Will this be the thing that makes all of his supporters, or at least the vast majority of them, turn on him? Or did they just keep going on living that lie and be like, no, I just don't believe that?
They saying bro was sleeping with a 13-year-old girl repeatedly, then impregnated her. Then these two went on a boat in Lake Michigan with that girl's uncle. She had the kid. Then they threw the kid overboard and killed him. I'm just the messenger, son. I'm just saying what the files say. And
does this sound crazy? Does this sound like National Enquirer type of stuff? I can hear people say, I don't believe this. Wait till it is all proven in this video. Y'all's mind is going to be blown.
They saying bro was sleeping with a 13-year-old girl repeatedly, then impregnated her. Then these two went on a boat in Lake Michigan with that girl's uncle. She had the kid. Then they threw the kid overboard and killed him. I'm just the messenger, son. I'm just saying what the files say. And this is a different rape case than the other rape case. And this one is a different murder from the other possible murder. That's 2. And these are only 5% of the files released. And we already getting these type of stories. And they say there's millions more? Oh, shit. Your boy's fucking cooked, son. And everybody that's going with him, man, we got to figure out how to do Gladiator Fridays because I need y'all to die. And hell is hot, and I hope all you bitches dress cold. Because, I mean, regularly participate in paying money to force me to, we could infer what the fuck they talking about, and was present with my uncle, murdered my newborn child, and disposed the body in Lake Michigan. That's some scary movie type shit. The FBI and DOJ are on the same page and say, well, there's millions of more files coming out. Where it's just like, wait a second. I thought the files used to be on Pam Bondi's desk. And I saw Patel said there was nobody else that was a part of these files and no co-conspirators. All that shit is capped. So I need both of y'all in peace and in prison like that. So to the mass volume of material, this process may take a few more weeks. They are hiding as much as they possibly can, even though there's 2 possible rape murder charges that the president participated in. And if you still doing mental gymnastics trying to, like, you know, support this man, I'm just letting you know, you will never believe anything until you see a picture or video of him actually fucking a young girl. And even then you'll be like, well, that's AI. So here you go. Here's your cult badge, and you just stay in the cult. Because at this point in time, that's what you were part of.
In the Epstein files, Trump was connected to a 13-year-old girl who reported that Trump was present when her baby was thrown into Lake Michigan from a yacht. At the time, Trump owned a yacht which resided in Lake Michigan called the Trump Princess. This article is from 1989 from the archives. Inside Donald Trump's lavish $86 million super yacht, the Trump Princess. Trump bought it from a Saudi Arabian. Let's go hear this from 1988.
4th is a day of rest for most working Americans, but for the rich and famous who like to display what they have earned, it's just another day on the job. Hemmed in by the press, New York billionaire Donald Trump and his wife Ivana are giving a sneak preview of the Trump Princess, a 282-foot luxury yacht they bought for $30 million. For the real estate magnate, whose name is emblazoned on skyscrapers and casinos, this is something new.
It's a little bit different. It's different than a building. We're getting tired of the building.
$10 million worth of redecoration made the difference. Complete with disco and movie theater, it sleeps 22. The Ruby Suite is just one of 8 double guest suites, all named after precious stones or metals, with 24-karat gold-plated bathroom accessories and onyx fittings. But the Trump's own quarters are the most opulent.
This is all hand-carved Italian marble, and literally they got the great craftsmen from Italy, from the hills of Italy.
400 to 500 pounds of marble hide the Trump Suite bar, which slides open at the flick of a switch. 3 elevators shuttle guests between the lounges inside and the 6 decks outside. And in case guests should forget just where they are, there are plenty of reminders, from the cocktail napkins to the beach towels to the helicopter landing pad. The Trump Princess has been sailing around with the international jet set for the last 6 years. It used to belong to billionaire Saudi Arabian arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi, and after that to the Sultan of Brunei. But Trump says his princess is more than just a new toy. He calls it the crown jewel of yachts and says buying it amounted to his patriotic duty.
This boat was not owned by a person of this country. And I'd like to see America taking a lot of the great jewels of the world, to be perfectly honest, and bringing them over here.
Look what was in the Epstein files, December 23rd. An image of a hat embroidered with Trump Princess, the name of Trump's former yacht, was found in the Epstein files.
We just found even more evidence that Trump's DOJ is redacting Trump's name from the Epstein files. Let me show you. So if you go to the DOJ website where they released the files and click on file 129617 and then scroll down to page 16, this is what you see. A bunch of redactions. It's this file behind me, which you can see blown up with names redacted. But here's the original file. And these are the names that were redacted. Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, and Trump. Keep sharing the truth, guys. We just found even more evidence that Trump's DOJ is redacting Trump's name from.
So, yes or no, did Trump have a casino, a yacht casino on Lake Michigan? Yes, Donald Trump did have a casino that operated on Lake Michigan, the same place where the 13-year-old girl says her baby was thrown from a yacht. The floating casino, originally named the Trump Casino, later known as Majestic Star 2, was located at Buffington Harbor in Gary, Indiana. Yes or no, did Trump's The Majestic Star float on Lake Michigan? Yes, the Majestic Star, formerly the Trump Casino Princess, was a large floating casino that operated on Lake Michigan in Gary, Indiana. So is that the yacht the girl was on?
The boat that Trump docked in Lake Michigan wasn't just a boat or a small yacht. It was a riverboat that he converted into a casino. Because folks continue to say that Trump couldn't have had a casino floating in Lake Michigan because it wasn't legal to do that. Here's the boat. And here's reporting from 2016 in a legit periodical. The name of the boat originally was the Trump Princess. Bill Clinton is the one who signed an exemption to the Johnson Act that allowed riverboats to leave the dock so that Trump casino could leave the dock. So yes, there was a boat on Lake Michigan. He had this boat the entire time he was palling around with Jeffrey Epstein. And thanks to an order from President Clinton, the riverboat was allowed to leave the dock and go out into the water a little bit further than it was supposed to, which would, of course, give Donald Trump quite a bit of privacy, wouldn't you say? So I don't know. I don't know what he did on Lake Michigan. I don't know if he was throwing newborn babies that he allegedly fathered through rape off of this boat into Lake Michigan. Somebody says that he did that, but I do know he would have had the boat, the access, and the privacy to do it if he wanted to. So somebody should check that out.
I screenshotted this, the yellow. I was at the series of parties that I personally witnessed the plaintiff being forced to perform various essays on Donald Trump and Mr. Epstein. Both Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein were advised that she was 13 years old. I personally witnessed 4 sexual encounters that the plaintiff was forced to have with Mr. Trump during this period, including the 4th of these encounters where Mr. Trump forcibly aped her despite her pleas to stop. I personally witnessed the one occasion where Mr. Trump forced the plaintiff and a 12-year-old female to perform OS on Mr. Trump. Now go up around number 5. In June 1944, while performing my duties as a recruiter of adolescent women to attend Mr. Epstein's party, I met a 13-year-old adolescent woman, the plaintiff in this matter, at the Port Authority in New York City. Keep that in mind, the Port Authority in New York, who said she had come to New York City in the hope of starting a modeling career. And Trump owned a modeling agency. Okay. So this person met this 13-year-old girl at the New York Port Authority. So I typed in the 1980s and 1990s, did Trump have a relationship with the New York Port Authority? In the 1980s and the 1990s, Donald Trump had several direct and indirect interactions with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, primarily by his aviation and real estate interests. Heliport access. Trump frequently used the Port Authority's West 30th Street heliport for his personal travel and business promotions. However, he extensively used other, more exclusive Port Authority managed aviation facilities to facilitate his high profile social life and romantic relationships, primarily in the 1980s and 1990s.
Tuesday, December 23rd, a new batch of Epstein files dropped last night, and Dictator Trump's name is all over them. And folks, it is not good news for Trump this morning. These files that were dropped last night do not paint this man in a very positive picture. But let's go over some of the highlights, or should I say lowlights, for Trump. In a newly released document, a woman alleged that Trump and Epstein SA'd her at the same time. She was later found to have unalived herself. Read this whole document, folks. Just pause and read. It's not good for Trump. Does everyone remember who Larry Nassar was? He was the U.S. gymnast coach who got convicted of sexually abusing his gymnast. Epstein wrote a letter to Larry Nassar. They were both in jail at the time for sexually assaulting women. And in the letter, Epstein says, "Our president," referring to Trump, "our president shares our love of young nubile girls." You can Google what nubile means, MAGA. "When a young beauty walked by, he loved to grab snatch," that's in quotes, "whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system." That's just sickening, folks, just sickening. And then the big thing that stood out to me was this. This was released by the U.S. Department of Justice. Some of these documents contain untrue and sensational claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false. Here's the deal, folks. Lots of people's names were in the files that were released today. And, you know, this could hold true for them too. They're just names were just thrown in there. Just because your name was in there doesn't mean you're guilty. But why would the Justice Department just call out Trump? Why wouldn't they say, There were many people's names in these files that were released today, and to be clear, the claims are unfounded and false. They are protecting Trump. There is so much backlash and outrage from the way they've been handling all the redactions and stuff that now they've turned to this. They're just going to release a statement that says, Trump's name was in there. He didn't do anything. That's bullshit.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me.
They've turned to this. They're just going to release a statement that says, Trump's name was in there. He didn't do anything. That's bullshit. The current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, sexually assaulted women. He was convicted. He was convicted of it. There are way too many instances throughout the years of Trump being linked to sexually assaulting women that it can't be true. It's like the Bill Cosby thing.
The plan was all along to stonewall, to stop, to delay, or just refuse altogether. It is no wonder that Donald Trump did not want the Epstein files to see the light of day. Not only have we seen the letter that was within the Epstein files that the DOJ is now seeing was fake. So apparently there's all kinds of fake evidence in the Epstein files. Make it make sense? Not only have we seen that letter from Jeffrey Epstein to Larry Nassar saying that Donald Trump is one of us, Donald Trump also loves to touch the young nubile girls. He's one of us. Not only have we seen that, there's also now a letter or an FBI intake form where someone is reporting that Donald Trump was present when a baby was thrown overboard in Lake Michigan, I believe. We're going to get to that and read it. But there's some scary shit that we're uncovering here. And this is why Donald Trump has been fighting hope against hope, fight against fight, effort against effort to keep these files from the public.
The people, my people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
Fighting hope against hope, fight against fight, effort against effort to keep these files from the public because he does not want to be outed as the ghoulish abuser, some of the most heinous crimes imaginable. And look, there's a faction of people out there that think that this particular document is too far-fetched. Oh, come on, people. You don't believe that, do you? Why would you not? With all of the other evidence that we've seen, the birthday card to Jeffrey Epstein, that here's to another year of wonderful secrets, Jeffrey. Enigmas are ageless, Jeffrey. You're my best friend, child rapist. Why would we start picking and choosing and cherry picking what we believe to be true or not? The more that we see, the more fantastical, yet believable some of these things we're seeing are.
Y'all, there's a lot of cussing in these, but these are men that are outraged what our president has done to little girls. These are probably dads with 13-year-old girls.
You mean to tell me they took 1,000 FBI agents and spent over $1 million in taxpayer money to take Donald Trump's name out of the Epstein files, and they couldn't even do that shit right? Donald Trump's name's all over it, including a part where it says that they raped a girl, him and Jeffrey Epstein, and then later on in life, that girl was found with her head completely blown off. So, yeah, that's the guy you support. That's the party you support. At this point, if you are still a fan and supporter of Donald Trump, we're just going to assume that you are okay with grown-ass men assaulting children. That's what we think of you. So, congratulations.
From Lake Michigan, from Michigan Journal of Gender and Law, 2020. The sexual misconduct of Donald J. Trump towards a misogyny report. Okay? The sexual misconduct of Donald J. Trump. It's 69 pages. Okay? Now imagine anybody else having these many accusations against them. Would you believe it? Epstein files say victim accused Trump and Epstein of rape before dying by apparent suicide. An FBI intake document outlines disturbing allegations, a limo driver's account, and a death that officers reportedly questioned.
There it is, y'all. Donald Trump immediately demeanor went stone cold as Blank stated, he raped me. Right there. Donald Trump raped me. Blank said what? As Donald J. Trump had raped her along with Jeffrey Epstein together. Blank noted, some girl with a funny name took me into a fancy hotel, Ghislaine Maxwell, or building. That's how it happened. Blank advised to call the police regarding the incident as Blank stated, I can't. They will unalive me. On Christmas Day, Blank contacted Blank, stated she had in fact called the police about what they had talked about, and she had done good. And I don't know what happened until 2000. They did not hear from her until 2000. But y'all, this is scary. This other document says Blank asked Blank about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in Dallas Fort Worth area. During this time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. Noted he picked the president up in 1995 and took him to the DFW airport. Blank reported some of things President Trump had spoken about during the ride while on his cell phone. It says right here, he raped me. He took me into a fancy hotel or a building. That's how it happened. And this man happens to be the president.
Merry Christmas, y'all. Just fast forwarding a bit here. So he is a child rapist and a baby unaliver in Lake Michigan. Witness to all of Jeffrey's crimes, knew about everything, helped him run the S trafficking ring. Let's assume that all the outrage from this triggers Article 2. After that, are we just going to let the 3 Supreme Court justices stay in that he appointed? They were appointed by a child rapist and a baby unaliver. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Now, as bad as all that sounds, we're about to even go darker. Y'all might want to pray before we get into this, okay? Well, let's go. So, Epstein had a ranch called Zorro Ranch, but the internet says Trump never went there. Did Trump ever go to Zorro Ranch? Now, he partied with Epstein in Palm Beach. He partied with him in New York. Now there's proof that he went to the island. They socialized everywhere. Epstein went to his wedding. But for whatever reason, they're saying Trump never went to the Zorro Ranch. There's no evidence that Donald Trump ever visited Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. While Trump and Epstein had a well-documented relationship and partied together in the 1990s, and Trump flew on Epstein's private jet numerous times, those flights and interactions were to other locations. He might want to be distanced from Zorro, okay? So after he was killed, this is from KRQE. The future of Jeffrey Epstein's $27.5 million New Mexico ranch. What will become of the infamous Zorro Ranch near Santa Fe now that Jeffrey Epstein is dead? First, look at what Zorro means in Spanish. You think it's by accident they named it Zorro, the Zorro Ranch? The Spanish word zorro directly translates into fox in English, referring to an animal, but can also describe a cunning. The Bible says the devil was more cunning and sly. Zorro can also describe a cunning or sly person like an old fox, with the feminine form being Zorre or vixen. While Zorre also means vixen, it often is used vulgarly for whore. So Epstein's ranch was Whore Ranch? Now, we've all heard the rumors that Jeffrey Epstein worked for intelligence agencies and he was gathering blackmail information on people. Whether that's true or not, or who he worked for, or what information he was gathering, he still was a vile human being. Yes or no, was Epstein intelligence? It is not definitively established whether Jeffrey Epstein worked for an intelligence agency. The official record does not confirm any such role, and former U.S. and Israeli officials have denied the claims. However, Ghislaine Maxwell's father was. However, the question of his intelligence connections remains a subject of ongoing speculation, investigation, and conspiracy theories due to several factors. Why do a lot of big lottery winners have connection to the CIA?
There's a weird connection between the CIA and big lottery winners. Watch this.
Did you know that lottery winners have a statistically impossible connection to government agencies?
Right?
When researchers analyzed major jackpot winners over the past 2 decades, they discovered something shocking. Nearly 50% had previous careers in intelligence, defense contracting, or federal agencies.
Isn't that strange?
The odds of this happening randomly? Less than 1 in 847 million. But it gets stranger. These winners often donate massive portions back to government programs within months of winning. Some conspiracy theorists believe state lotteries use quantum computing to manipulate number sequences. They point to excluded combinations that would create too many winners, and jackpots that mysteriously spike during budget crises. The timing seems too perfect. Major jackpots often occur just before states need emergency funding. Internal documents allegedly show research into probability manipulation using quantum algorithms. The same technology that can predict particle behavior could theoretically control random number generation. If true, the lottery isn't gambling at all. It's a sophisticated wealth redistribution system disguised as chance.
Now look at this archive, newspaper ancestry. Zorro Trust claims a winning 85 million Powerball ticket. A trust has claimed a winning 85 million Powerball ticket sold in Altus, the Oklahoma lottery said Monday. A group called Zorro Trust came forward and requested the lump sum payment option, yielding $29.3 million after taxes. The future of Jeffrey Epstein's $27.5 million New Mexico ranch. Zorro. Under legislation enacted in 2007, the names of trust members must be disclosed in the Lottery Commission, and checks are made to see if they owe back taxes or child support. There's no requirements that the names be released publicly. So Zorro Trust won $29.3 million, and they don't have to disclose who was involved with Zorro Trust. Was Epstein involved with Zorro Trust? Yes, Jeffrey Epstein was involved with Zorro Trust, the CIA that wins lotteries, which was the entity used to purchase and own the Zorro Ranch property. Epstein Zorro Trust won the $29.3 million lottery that he used to set up the Zorro Trust, the Zorro Ranch. So the Whore Trust, Zorro, set up the Whore Ranch. Is that what they're calling women now? He won the lottery, y'all. And this said it was really just wealth redistribution between the elites.
Between the CIA and big lottery winners. Watch this.
Did you know that lottery winners have a statistically impossible connection to government agencies?
Right?
When researchers analyzed major jackpot winners over the past 2 decades, they discovered something shocking. Nearly 50% had previous careers in intelligence, defense contracting, or federal agencies.
Isn't that strange?
The odds of this happening randomly? Less than 1 in 847 million. But it gets stranger. These winners often donate massive portions back to government programs within months of winning. Some conspiracy theorists believe state lotteries use quantum computing to manipulate number sequences. They point to excluded combinations that would create too many winners, and jackpots that mysteriously spike during budget crises. The timing seems too perfect. Major jackpots often occur just before states need emergency funding. Internal documents allegedly show research into probability manipulation using quantum algorithms. The same technology that can predict particle behavior could theoretically control random number generation. If true, the lottery isn't gambling at all. It's a sophisticated wealth redistribution system disguised as chance.
And Jeffrey Epstein won the lottery to set up Whore Ranch. And y'all, what do y'all think was going on at this New Mexico ranch where the world's most powerful people went to? November 17th, 2025. Shocking new human experiment claims emerge from Epstein's Zorro Ranch. Woke up around medical equipment. Does that sound familiar? These pictures that just were released from Epstein Island, that was medical equipment. Okay. Now, this is in New Mexico. Oh, I can't get to it. I can't get to it. Let's see if I can find it another one. New witnesses come forward to claim Jeffrey Epstein conducted non consensual medical procedures at his Zorro Ranch in Stanley, New Mexico. For years, Jeffrey Epstein's huge New Mexico estate has been whispered about as one of his most secretive hideaways, an isolated patch of desert where he allegedly moved girls around with little oversight. But now a wave of disturbing new testimony is raising even deeper concerns about what might have happened behind the locked gates of the sprawling whore ranch. According to several state leaders, the latest allegations are so alarming that New Mexico may be forced to take a hard look at something it has avoided for decades. Witnesses claim horrifying medical violations. New Mexico State Representative Andrea Romero says her office has been inundated with messages from men and women who say their experiences at Zorro Ranch went far beyond sexual abuse. We're hearing from people who say they were drugged, woke up around medical equipment, and discovered that parts of their body had been tampered with. Some witnesses claim their reproductive tissues were taken without consent, leading to what she describes as a deeply unsettling pattern that can no longer be brushed aside. Zorro Ranch wasn't used for the same purposes. New Mexico officials demand a fresh investigation into Epstein's Zorro Ranch as fears grow over the dark secrets hidden in the desert estate. Now, we know he's been accused of child sex trafficking, but look what goes hand in hand with this. Now, is this some of the dark stuff that was going on at Zorro Ranch? Former MP exposes horror. Children who are trafficked, abused, and organ harvested while elites protect the guilty. The horrifying scandal of grooming gangs in Great Britain, and y'all know that Epstein had ties in Great Britain also, involving men of Pakistani origin, has reignited public outrage. Okay? So children that are sex trafficked end up organ harvested. Now, look what question I asked. How much would a human being be worth if every one of their single organs of their body was harvested and sold? The total black market value of all harvestable organs and tissues from a human body is estimated to be over $1 million to as much as $45 million. All these missing illegal immigrant children, like 300,000, 300,000 times 45 million, that's a lot of money. Depending on the source and which body components are included in the calculations. And y'all, you can't say this kind of stuff is not happening. This is from December 18th, 2025. A former manager of a Harvard Medical School morgue in Boston was sentenced to 8 years in prison for stealing and selling body parts. He sold a person's face. He sold people's skin. It's a very lucrative business. Okay? Says one example, Cedric Lott provided skin to a buyer so it could be tanned into leather and bound into a book. This man was selling human skin so somebody could leather bound their book with human skin. In another, they sold a man's face, perhaps to be kept on a shelf, perhaps to be used for something even more disturbing. What if this is real human skin on these things' face? And these people waking up in Zorro Ranch with medical equipment all around them. Okay, that was in Boston. Look in Alabama. CBS News last year. Alabama prisoners were returned to their families with their hearts and other organs missing. The bodies of two men who died while incarcerated in Alabama's prison system were missing their hearts or other organs when returned to their families. Okay? So you can go look in China. They organ harvest prisoners. They have the execution van that just rolls up, picks them up, takes them, drives towards the airport, cuts them open without anesthesia, and rips their organs out and puts the organ in a bag of ice to preserve it and immediately put it on a plane. There's a lot of money being made. $45 million a person if they take all of it. And prisoners are losing their organs. A man that managed a morgue was selling organs. Now, CIA money set up the Zorro Ranch. What experimentations could be been going on out there? What the newly released Jeffrey Epstein documents reveal about his sex trafficking ring. Y'all, sex traffickers are involved with harvesting. Who knows what's going to be in these files? Thousands of court documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein have been made public as part of a settled lawsuit involving one of his victims. The records details Epstein's sexual abuse and trafficking of underage girls and include the names of 150 people who were in contact with him. Look who else was involved. RFK Jr. admits going to Epstein's jet twice. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s friendship with Jeffrey Epstein raises questions after two private jet trips come to light. So when you see RFK Jr. and Trump together, they were both involved with Epstein. RFK Jr. pictured partying with child sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. So they're saying there's no credible evidence to support that Epstein was involved with organ harvesting. But I put yes or no. Is it possible many children that are trafficked and are then organ harvested for the $45 million value? Yes, it is possible, as confirmed cases have shown that children who are trafficked have been victims of organ harvesting. Just like that article, the girl said she woke up and part of her reproductive was gone at Zorro Ranch. Now, if you grew up in the 80s, you know who Ricky Schroeder is, who was on that TV show Silver Spoons. Listen to what he says happens with the elite.
I was hanging out with the older guys out on Point Doom, and somebody popped in a cassette tape into a VHS player, and there was a room with a body, I believe it was a male, laying on a table, and people came around the room. It was dimly lit, but they had hoods and robes on, and they had some sort of ritual where they took out a knife and they cut him down the side. It was his right side, and they took out parts of him, and the blood started flowing, and they were chanting, and there was women there, and they took off their clothes, and then they took the blood and they smeared it on their bodies and started to be sexual with each other. I was hanging out with the older guys.
And here's the bassist from the band The Scorpions talking about he saw that kind of stuff.
Reicherman, he's German.
Not much.
He was the bass player for the Scorpions.
Yes, the Scorpions! You may remember them from the 80s, or possibly your local state fair. So, let's talk about Germany's rich tourism scene.
Any German fetish parties going on later?
I don't go to fetish parties.
Oh my God. This is where things in this video take a weird turn.
I went to one time. I've seen them really bad.
Was it like a donkey show or?
No, actually, I think they actually kill people there and stuff. They pay like up to like 100,000 people to see people get
executed.
I'm not kidding.
He's dead serious. He's not like laughing. There's not a smile on his face.
Are you sure? Because sometimes it's hard to tell when German people are kidding.
Another one where literally I saw like the grossest. I wanted to throw up.
I'm disgusted right now.
Y'all, people with money live in a world that we don't understand, and they don't have a moral compass.
When Jeffrey thinks that you're evil beyond belief, when Jeffrey thinks that you're crazy, this is our president right now. Also, I have a lot of questions now about how Jeffrey was found to be unalived.
We have another bombshell email coming out of the Jeffrey Epstein estate files that have been released by House Oversight Democrats today. This is one that Donald Trump really didn't want the public to see, but here it is. On August 23rd, 2018, Jeffrey Epstein sends a Kathy Lumiere quote, "You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, New York business people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip." This is referring to they're having a back and forth conversation about Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former fixer and former lawyer, back in 2018. The steady drip of Epstein documents that we're seeing today is only getting worse for the President of the United States, and he is desperately trying to stop them. And it really seems as though the day of reckoning is coming for the President. Whether or not these files are ever actually fully released from the Justice Department, House Republicans will be on record as soon as this evening, and we'll have more updates soon. I'll provide you more updates.
This was from December 24th, 2025 from the Daily Beast. The Department of Justice begs for emergency Epstein files scrubbers over holidays. The Justice Department officials have begged lawyers to sacrifice their Christmas to redact the Epstein files. The Department of Justice has begged prosecutors to spend their Christmas redacting the Epstein files as they continue to release files over the festive period.
We have breaking news right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene just blasted Donald Trump after.
Do y'all remember this? Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was a hardcore MAGA supporter, her and Trump had a falling out over Epstein.
We have breaking news right now. Marjorie Taylor Greene just blasted Donald Trump after he pulled her endorsement, and she is saying the reason he pulled her endorsement was because today she texted him about the Epstein files, and she has receipts. So this is from her. "President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today. Apparently this is what sends him over the edge. the Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. It's astonishing, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out that actually goes to this level. This is a text message from her to Donald Trump today. Check the flight logs of Epstein's plane. Bill Clinton's on there, Hillary too. For many of us, releasing the Epstein files has always been about the victims of Epstein, but we also believe that Democrat bad guys like Clinton were entangled and involved. Epstein was a spider that wove the web. Lean into. This is a text she got back from the White House, the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. In every single interview, this is her response. I have defended President Trump. I've said over and over that he's done nothing wrong, and their attorney says he's the only one who helped. Stop ignoring the women. Many of them literally voted for President Trump and said so publicly. Absolutely stunning meltdown happening in the MAGA world right now.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me. Not releasing the Epstein files.
And then did y'all see this for Christmas? Trump and Melania on the telephone talking to little kids around the country. And Trump talks to an 8-year-old girl. Now, with all the past information coming out and us seeing his track record, now here he is talking to an 8-year-old as the president.
Good. I'm fine. You sound so beautiful and cute. How old are you?
I'm 8.
Wow, so smart. You sound so smart. So do you have a question? Good. I'm fine. You sound so beautiful and cute. How old are you?
I'm 8.
Wow, so.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me.
Politics make strange bedfellows. I pray this is a wake-up call that you do not follow an unrepented person. Trump says he doesn't have to ask God for forgiveness because he's never done anything wrong. And the Bible says if we say we have no sin, we are a liar and the truth is not in us. So why would you want to follow not only somebody that does not have the truth, but somebody who walks in open deception? This is a call out to take the MAGA hat off and put your thinking cap back on and set your affections on things above. This is a sick, evil, demented time that we're living in. And the Bible says to know this, that in the last days, evil men shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But the Bible says there's no deception found in Jesus's mouth. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. If you appreciate the content that you find on this channel, would you prayerfully consider supporting the ministry?